Hi, my name is Denver Owens, and today I'm going to be talking about a story that happened during my preceptorship, where my preceptor just really showed me what it means to be a true leader and just kind of opened my eyes to the role and the responsibilities that we have as nurses in the hospital. I did my preceptor in the PACU, and the PACU is kind of known to be a little bit slower sometimes, so it's pretty common to see nurses on their phones. And it's even common to see them on their phones at the bedside if the patient's vitals are okay or if the patient's just like sleeping or relaxing. It's also a common thing for the alarms to be going off a lot and for the nurses just to kind of disregard them and not pay them much attention. And my preceptor has showed me many times like leadership skills in this because she's talked to other nurses about it and the importance of not being on our phones and watching our patients and making sure that they're having the best possible care taken for them. And so during this day, the alarm was going off on the patient's bed that was next to us. Me and my preceptor were at our patient's bed, and we looked over and we see that her O2 sat is dropped to around 66 or 67. And so this immediately caught our eye, and we went over there and started to try to awake the patient. We were calling her by her name, and she was just not responding to anything. We checked to see if she had a pulse, and there was no pulse, and she ended up coding. So we grabbed the code card, and we started doing compressions on her for about a minute or so until she woke back up. And she was a little bit disoriented and kind of confused, but she ended up being okay, which was good. But the reason that I chose this story is because the nurse by her bedside was on her phone the whole entire time that the alarms were going off. She wasn't paying any attention to the vital signs. She wasn't paying any attention to the patient. And it just really impacted me, and I just thought a lot about it and how I think it's really important to be deeply involved in our patients' care and to not just go by day and shift by shift and get too comfortable with the job of a nurse, because we truly have our patients' lives in our hands. And so this really also impacted the way I see leadership and management in the hospital, because I think before this I used to think that leadership's like spots were more of like coordinators or directors or maybe like a charge nurse. But now this kind of opened my eyes to see that leadership doesn't just mean those jobs, but it means like you can just be a regular nurse and it's your job to show leadership to the rest of your team. And my preceptor really showed me just the way that you can be a leader and the way you can just be an advocate for your patient. And not only for your patient, but I think it's important to be paying attention to just all patients, because if we wouldn't have been paying attention to the patient next to us, things might have went differently during this day. So it really impacted just the way I see leadership and the involvement of all nurses in the hospital. And I think by telling this story that it can really just help new grads and just new nurses in general just learn from past mistakes of nurses, and it really just educates and teaches how to give the best possible care to each of our patients. Thank you.